right, good. So this is where we are currently. But before we do this, I said we are going to treat aggregation functions, sum, and the likes. All right, so let's open up our PG admin. Open up your PG admin. Open up your PG admin. All right, put in my password. All right, so let me open up the one we've been using so far. All right, so let's start. Something like a class assessment. I hope I'm prepared. I hope I'm prepared. So let me see what we've discussed so far, so I'll know how to ask the question. Uh, okay, so let's see. So question one, and I implore you, I beseech you to participate actively. Okay. At some point, I might have to call some people's names, but I beseech you to participate. Okay, so let's see. How many how many categories. How many possible film category do we have? So how many possible film categories do we have? Can we write a query to answer that? How many possible film categories do we have? Like I said, you need to have your systems open up to your PG admin so that you can try your query out. Okay? Don't just guess a query. All right. Also pay attention to your select statement and the table you are selecting from. Does that table exist? So, based on what you've been taught so far now, okay, there are other ways by which you can give us the number of possible film categories. Okay, so now you should be specific, or like just getting all the records and depending on the system to tell you how many rows are there. You can write a query that will just return the specific number of film categories. All right, I think I've seen enough. So some of us are not really getting it. Okay, so there are like three different ways by which I can answer this question. Actually, there are like three different ways. Some of our answers are missing something. Some of our answers are missing something. what I can see. Okay, so let's pay attention. So now the category column, or sorry, the category table rather tells us the categories that we have, the film categories that we have. Now pay attention to something. Okay? Pay attention to something. If I get all the data from say the category table, what do I have? Now I have 16 rows. Okay? Each category has a unique category ID. For instance, action has category ID 1. Animation has category ID 2. Children has category ID 3. Now, I can check all through and you will notice that there's no duplicate here. So on the category table, they are unique. Okay? So if I want to see how many possible film categories we have, instead of doing this, I can simply say select count and then the star in brackets. And when I run this, it gives me 16. Isn't it? So I have 16 possible film categories. Now that is one way to answer it. Another way to answer it is to answer it from, say, the film category table. Let's go ahead and explore the film category table. If I check the film category table, what do I see there? I see that for each film ID, they have a particular category ID. For each film ID, they have a particular category ID. Okay? So, what can I do here? I can simply count the distinct values of category ID from this table. So if I want to answer it using here, because here the category ID can be duplicated. For instance, now film ID number 2 has category ID 11. So let's say category ID 11 is, let's say it is adventure. So it means film number 2 is adventure. Film number 4 is also adventure. It is possible, isn't it? So if I want to know how many category IDs, how many possible category IDs that I can then have on this table, it means I will be taking the distinct count this time around, which is count distinct on the film category table. Okay, so to answer this, I would say count, open brackets, distinct. So count distinct words, category ID, isn't it? I'll close my brackets. So I want to see the distinct category ID and then count it. Before we do count, let's just do select distinct category ID. If I run this, okay, let me remove the brackets. So I'm selecting the distinct category ID from the film category table now. You see that it returns just 16 rows. So these are the distinct category IDs. So if I count it, it should give me the same value as the first query. If I take the count now, you see that it's 16. Do you see that? So I can either answer it this way or answer it this way. So you can see that they give the same answer, but different approach taken to answer them. Isn't it? All right, so let's move on to question 2. How many customers have letter F in their first name? Now, pay attention to this question before answering. Pay attention to this question before answering. So let me see your queries. I want the value, the figure that, okay, these are the number of customers. So maybe it is 20 or if it is 30. I want the query to give me the figure like this. So it will give me the figure of how many customers have letter F in their first name. Okay? To give me the figure of how many customers have the letter F in their first name. So let's see. What do we have? What can we do? Let's see who can cook that up. I'm waiting. right. I can see some people are already getting it. Some of you are close, just that your query would return the names instead of returning the particular figure. Some of you still need to add one thing to your query. For instance, now, Obina, your query will return all the details, but we need to get the particular figure that, okay, this is the number of people that have the letter F, their first name. Okay, very good. So it means that we're picking up. Very good, very good. So let's go ahead and answer that. Okay. So now, the first step to answering questions like this is to break it down. What are they asking for? They are asking for how many, meaning they are looking for a number. Okay, so this is how I answer questions when it comes to SQL. So before going to how many, okay, can I write a query first that will get the customers that have letter F in their first name? Okay, so I will write a query that will first and foremost get the customers that have letter F in their first name. So select from customer. So where first name, I like what? So I like F can be anywhere, meaning they have letter F in their first name. So it means F can be anywhere, isn't it? So it means we would have percentage sign F and the percentage sign again. That's what it means by F can be anywhere. Okay, so if I run this, what does it give me? You will see that in the first name, the customers I have the letter F in their first name. Already I can see this is 23 here. But the query asks me for how many. So I need to write a query that will return just the number. What I'll simply do is to take the count from the select statement here. From the select statement here, and run this. So do you see that? Easily I'm able to get the number of customers that have the letter F in their first name. So let's tweak that a little. Make it question 3. How many customers have letter E in their first name or letter N in their last name? So let's see. How are we going to answer this? So who is going to give us the query to answer this? Adenike, you are close, but there are little mistakes in your query. Your query will run, but it won't give us the right answer. Your query will run, Adenike, your query will run, but it won't give us the right answer. Okay, there are little mistakes there. Beautiful. I see that some people are already taking SQL to the next level. I love this. Chester, your first name. Look at the letter there. Sir James, your first name. Look at the letter there. And then Sir James, your quote. We have the percentage inside the quote. Why is yours outside? Okay. Okay. Many of you are already getting it. That's good. Tokubie. That's not correct. It won't run. All right. Tokubie, you missed out the count command. That's not the only thing. Look at the query well. Adekunle, oh, that's not the right query. Letter E in their first name or letter N in their last name. Very good. So I think many of us get it now. I think many of us get it now. So let's run the query. Let's run the query. So select. First and foremost, I will write a query that will get the list of customers that have letter E in their first name, letter N in their last name. Okay, so either this or this. You can see the joining factor there is or. All right. So I'm going to start with select asterisk from customer where first name I like E, you can see that, or last name, I like N. So either this or this. Okay? So those of you that wrote this, whether your E is in capital letter or small letter, it doesn't matter since you are using I like. Okay? So those of you that wrote this, kudos to you. So this will give us a list of customers that have letter E in their first name or letter N in their last name. So you will see here that Jared has letter E in his first name. He does not have letter N in his last name. Okay, but remember the condition is or, so anyone works. So if it meets both conditions, fine. If it meets only one, fine. You can see this one now. Elizabeth has letter E in the first name and has letter N last name. So you can see. All right. So this gives me 442 records. So if I want to get number count, yeah, it does not have to be in brackets, but at times brackets helps you to put a distinct difference between some certain parts of your query. So if I put it in count, I have 442. Beautiful, isn't it? 442. Okay, so up next. I have a question for us here. Question 4. I think after question 5, we can move on to the next one. So question 4 would be how many okay, how many payments were made during the period I'm coming, let me see something. During the period 18th February 2007 to 25th February, or 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 during the months of February 2007. Yeah, this is more like it. I think it's a more interesting question. So let's write. How many payments were made during the month of February 2007? Let's write. Let me see what we have. Let me see who is that person that I'll feed the nail on the head here. So these are the list of tables. For the person asking for the list of tables, these are the list of tables here. These are the list of tables. So what I did is very easy. I drew our mind away from what we did in the second SQL class, because I noticed that some of you might have forgotten. Yes, check the columns under payment. You should be with your systems, isn't it? You should be with your systems now. Do I have to show you the column under payment again? Okay, so these are the columns under payments. These are the columns under payments. If you are not sure of your query, don't just post it here. You know, how do you know when payment date equals to February 2007? That will return a fatal error. There's no month on the payment column. There's just payment date. Who is the person solving my task? Searchings. What did that query give you when you ran it? Some people are trying. So far, only 2 people have gotten this thing right. So far. So far. So far, only 2 people have gotten this thing right. Some people are, I can see some of us are just guessing. Actually, some of us are just guessing. Okay. So let's do this. What is your thought process? Okay, somebody has gotten it again. Now, what is your thought process? First and foremost, there are various ways by which you can answer this question. Okay. Various ways by which you can answer this question. I don't know. Okay. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. I will call your name, and you'll tell me what you got when you ran your query. Okay. You will tell me what you got when you ran your query. Let's see. Chino. What did you get when you ran your query? What did you get?
Okay. What I did, I did not run it. I just copy. I just thought about it.
Okay, so I said we should. Why didn't you run it?
Okay, because I was looking at the screen. I didn't want to move out of the screen. The same system.
I've not shown any solution yet. When I asked a question, I said run it before you send your solution. So if you see the question, I'm meant to try it out first. See that it works. If you just send it and then you wait for me to show the correct thing, you won't know where the error is yourself. You won't know that okay, this doesn't work. This is not the right thing until I send the right answer. Searchings. 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 Is searchings not there? Okay. Obina. What do you have when you run your query? Obina. Obina is not there as well. Let's see. Pollution. What did you get when you ran your query?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm also using my phone here because because of darkness. So there is no, we don't have light. So I'm managing what I have here.
Okay.
That's just a problem.
All right, no problem. So don't let us waste any more time because we don't have time on that. So let me just show us the possible ways by which you can answer this question. Okay. The first thing is first get all the data you have on the payment table. Okay. Select all from payments. Run it. Okay. So this is all the data I have on the payment table. This is all the data I have on the payment table. Okay. Now, if I look at the payment date, I can see the format it follows: year, month, date, isn't it? So we want to get payment for only February 2007, isn't it? February 2007. The one thing I can do is include a condition that where the payment date payment date between. So between means that it starts from something and it ends at something. So between what? So what is the starting date of February 2007? So we can start from February 1, should in case that date exists. Okay? So I'll say between 2007 hyphen 02 hyphen 01. So between these dates and 2007 hyphen 02 hyphen 29. So it might be a leap year, should in case that date occurs, and it might just be a normal year. So any which way, this query will capture it. So if I run this, you see that, okay, date time field value out of range. So it means that for 2007, it was not a leap year. So let's reduce this back to 28. But assuming 2007 was a leap year, okay, that would work. So it means that it is corresponding, it is checking, what is it called, the calendar, not just the date you have on your columns. Okay, so 2007 is not a leap year, so we don't have that. So from 1st to 28th, you can see that they are just 2016 records, although it's showing just 1000 first. That's what you can view at once. Okay, so 2016 records. So if I count this, you should give me 2016. Let's count how many payments do we have there. Can you see 2016? So I have 2016 payments in February of 2007. 2016 payments were made. Do you see that? What of in March? Let's see for March. If I change this to March and I run it, 5,644 payments were made in March. Can you see that? What of in April? I'll just change this 3 to 4. And I'll change this 3 to 4. Now April stop at 30th. So if I run this, I have 5,443 records payments in April. All right. So that answers the question. Now, another thing to consider is this. I don't think I showed us how to get what's it called now? The date functions that we did in Excel Power BI. So if I want to get, select everything from payments, and I run this. Now for each one of these payments, or for each one of these payments or payment dates, what if I want to get, say, the months? I want a column for months. I want a column for the year. Okay, that's your day and time, your date function, isn't it? So to do this, very simple. Okay, let's just select, say, 3 columns. Select payments ID. Customer ID. Amount. Payments. Dates. From payments. So if I run this, so I'm now teaching you some extra functions, okay, before we
finally move on to the aggregation function. Okay, so now if I want to get the month and then the month, the day, and maybe the year as well. Okay, I'll be selecting this and then I would say get the day, open brackets, of payment date. If I run this, okay, function day does not exist. No function. You might need to add explicit typecast. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, timecast. Give me a minute. All right, so I don't want to move into casting because it has to do with changing the data type of the column. Okay, so what is happening is that because of the data type of that column, it's a timestamp, all right, without a time zone. That column is a timestamp column. It's not just date that is there. You see that there's time there as well. Okay, so font underscore name. Okay, let's see that. Right, that's yeah. So it didn't work. Okay. So because of the data type of that column, we're unable to effectively retrieve, say, the day name or the month name. Okay. So you need to make use of, say, uh, let's see, this is PostgreSQL. Let's try. No, we want to get the month name. We are not comparing yet. We're not comparing yet. Okay, let me just try one more thing. Let me try one more thing. Um, all right, all right, all right. I think if so this is the reason why you need to be let me say conscious of the errors that you get. Okay, you need to be conscious of the errors that you get. So I cannot just convert that particular data timestamp without time zone. I cannot just convert it to say maybe a month or a year or a day. Okay, so what I want to do is to extract from the date. Okay, so what converting will do is that it will convert the entire thing. Okay, but what extraction will do is that it's extracting out from that column the day. Okay, so this is the day. All right, I'll show you how to add alias for columns. That's what we have here. The ask keyword for column aliases. I can easily call this as day. If I call this, if I run it, you see that it returns day here as day. Okay, so this is the day, comma. So, or let me just delete this. If I want to get, instead of doing everything, if it is the month I want to get, okay, I'll say extract months. I run it. You see that? And it gives us the month number. Right? So if I want to do for the year as well, what would I change? All right. So you simply change your month to year. So if I change month to year, let's change the month to year. Year. And then if I run this, very good. Okay, very good. So if I wanted to get, okay, so I don't want just the month number, I want to get, say, the month name. Let me see. So how can we do that? We want to get the month name, right? So